Welcome everyone to today's installment of the Empyrion Workshop Showcase. Join me as we take a look at the TSY Goliath. So today's design is the TSY Goliath, and it is an unlock level 25 size class 12 capital vessel coming to us from our very own D00mnoodle. Now this of course is a creator requested look at this design, and it is a pretty hefty design, so let's get going. So the Goliath is definitely a very interesting looking ship design. To me, the overall design makes me think of like a shotgun with the little pump handle on the lower side. But as you can see, we do have a front hangar bay. We also have two side hangar bays, S1 and S2, as well as a lower hangar bay down at the back base section. So we do have several places that we can go in with our vessels. So starting at the front with Hangar Bay 1, this is going to take you through most of the lower section of the ship. As you see, we have several parking spots for hover vessels, and then we have a large work area in the back with repair bay, as well as some cargo boxes, and of course our oxygen station and medic station, and the repair bay console. Now the parking area for the hover vessels is pretty long in length, however it's not that wide, so you will still be limited a bit by what vessels you can put in here. If you put in something that's too overly long, you're going to possibly run into an issue over by the ramp when you try to go down the ramp and get it outside. Now coming to Hangar Bay 2, this is actually for your small vessels, not hover vessels. There's no ramp that extends downward, and it actually has a small lip that causes you to have to kind of come down as you come in. There are two parking spaces for SVs, which are decently long, however not very wide. And as you can see, we have some cargo boxes and of course our O2 station and a medic station. Taking either elevator on the sides of this hangar bay will bring us up top to the main hangar bay where we have our hover vessel parking area. So right next to the elevator door in the middle, we have a sign that tells you where the different sections of the ship are that we can connect to through this main elevator section. They are not named in alphabetical order or numerical order such as level A, level B, level C. Rather, they are named for what they are. F for factory, G for growing area, L for living quarters. So coming up to the top of this elevator, we enter into the lower section of the factory where we have offline protection, gravity generation, and along the full length of the floor, a large number of advanced constructors. The factory has a very nice setup of 12 advanced constructors along with cargo boxes spread around. And in one area, you will find also fridge, food production, as well as armor locker, repair station, oxygen station, so forth. At each end of the room, you will find an elevator leading up to the upper level floors, the balcony areas, where each one leads to other parts of the ship. So starting on the elevator end towards where we came up from the hangar bays, we come up here to this floor, we have some ammo boxes, and then heading along, you will see we have access in the middle to our small vessel bays 1 and 2. Each of the sections for the small vessel access bays has the same type setup. You have an armor locker and a fridge at the base. Coming up here, we have a medic station and an O2 station. And then we have two very long small vessel landing pad areas. However, these will work better for longer vessels, not wider vessels. There is also a problem with the exposed thrusters, not in the walls, but more in the floor here. Once you get to this little area, if your thrusters are on, you will see there's a big temperature spike right through here. So now moving on up to the next area on the balcony above, we have our escape pods on both sides, which is simply little ramps that lead up to shutter doors that open up to the outside, giving you a place where you can put some sort of escape pod design. However, I did not see D00mnoodle having any specific one listed for this ship. So back here again on the same side as the hangar bay elevator, at the top level we have two sentry guns. We also have shutter doors concealing some of our RCS in the wall, and then we have an elevator leading up to both the main bridge and the maintenance area. Heading up to level M for maintenance, we come into the area where we have most of our fuel and oxygen storage, as well as our warp drive fuel tank. Then continuing up to the top of the elevator, the main bridge, we actually come out of the elevator itself, which is then concealed in the floor. And here you can see we have the main bridge with a large number of displays and workstations. However, there's no NPCs in here, so you don't have to worry about adding in a bunch of gold to your build cost. This is the main bridge where you have a bit of a way to look out the ship itself. However, you're going to see mostly the big turret out there. However, you do want to use this as your main bridge because of the fact there are two sets of switches here. We have one side that turns on combat mode, which gives you defensive shutters around the ship, as well as turns on all the lights red for red alert. And then the other set of switches is for emergency speed. Now there is emergency speed 1 and emergency speed 2. What these do is trigger on separate sets of thrusters to increase your speed but also your fuel consumption. Right now I am sitting at 50 hours in power usage. However, if I turn on the first set of thrusters, it drops to 33 hours of use. And when I turn on the second set, it drops now to 26 hours of use. So best to keep these off except when you need them. Now back in the factory area on the lower level, we do have some new things over here as well. To the side we have our medical bay, and over here we have our combat bridge. So here is our very nice medical bay where you see we have our different scanners, we have beds, we have cryo chambers, we have a clone chamber, medic station, we have everything to keep our crew happy and healthy. And here we are in the combat bridge, which seems to have a permanent red alert type setup. You see some of the same type displays, but we also have more pilot seats here and a display that makes it look like a targeting type display. And this is basically meant for controlling in battle, so you can actually see out the front of the ship as opposed to just looking at the back of a turret like you do on the main bridge. So coming up to the next level on this end, we do have more ammo boxes like the other side. However, they are separated a little differently and the elevator is on the side. Then coming on up to the next level, we have a marker for L and G. Both the growing area and the living quarters are through that door. And we also have a nice little kind of bar lounge type thing over here. So coming into the growing area, you see we have what appears to be no grow plots. And the grow plots are actually hidden away up top where you don't see them, but you will be able to see the plants as they grow. On the side where you enter in, you do have a single food processor as well as 4 fridges, and there is a switch for turning on and off all of the grow lights. On the other end of the room, we have 2 more fridges as well as 2 additional food processors and a gravity generator over here. The Goliath carries a total of 80 grow plots, giving you plenty of room for food production. Heading on through to the living quarters, on each side as we come in we have elevators, but going straight forward we come into the mess hall. On one side you will find a small mini lounge area where you have TV and couches. We have some decorative plants, we have fridges over here, we have a nice little kitchenette area. We also have a very interesting menu, not the Empyrion menu, but a Subnautica food menu. And then on the other side we have nice little setup of toilets here for when people get sick or just need to go to the bathroom. Taking either elevator on the sides as you come in leads you up to the next area, which is where you'll find your main living quarters. We have nice little bunk rooms on each side. We also have a nice shower set on one side, and on the other side more toilets. And at least the toilets give you privacy. And then we have the slightly nicer bedrooms. However, you'll notice there is an exposed thruster in the wall, so it might get a little warm in here sometimes. At the end of this hallway, we have 2 more elevators now leading up from here to the next floor. But we come up, we have a nice little reception type desk. We have another little lounge area, little bar, but there's no kitchenette, no fridge or anything like that. And then coming around here, we have a nice cinema. A nice movie theater showing a very, very classic movie. And then taking the door right over here, we come into the captain's quarters. This has to be the captain's quarters because it's nicer than everybody else's living space in the ship. And it even has its own private bathroom included. So once again, this is the TSY Goliath, and it is an unlock level 25 size class 12 capital vessel. It carries 44 fuel tanks for a total capacity of 191,400 fuel, and with thrusters turned to minimum sitting here docked, I have over 50 hours of use. It comes with 8 oxygen tanks, giving you a total of 16,000 O2, and surprisingly needs most of that to fill the place up. To completely fill up the capital vessel with oxygen so you can breathe without your helmet, you will need 13,499 O2. It spreads this around using the 12 ventilators, and then the rest can go to your 5 oxygen stations to keep your suit filled up with oxygen. It also has 5 medic stations spread throughout and the 1 clone chamber in the medic bay. Weapon-wise, it comes pretty well loaded. It has 6 minigun turrets, 6 flak turrets, 6 sentry guns, 6 cannon turrets, 2 artillery turrets, 6 pulse laser turrets, 6 pulse lasers, 4 plasma turrets, 4 rocket turrets, 4 rocket launchers, and then it has a drill turret and a multi-turret. It carries a total of 52 cargo boxes, including the harvest cargo boxes, and 8 ammo boxes. There is a total of 12 fridges spread throughout, along with the 4 food processors and 12 advanced constructors. Now obviously with a ship this size, it's going to take a good bit of resources to build it. The nearly 45,000 sathium and over 34,000 iron really is not that bad though. It's more going to be the 11,000 plus neodymium, as well as the 6,414 erestrum and zascosium that's going to hurt you the most. So when it comes to this ship design, I like the design itself overall. It's got a very good look aesthetically to it. But when it comes to single player use, I think it's going to be a bit problematic for some people like myself who like to have a wider selection of hover vessels and small vessels that they can use. I also find it to be a bit problematic with the numerous exposed thrusters throughout. While exploring through the ship, I did have several places that I started to experience a negative effect from the high heat level of the exposed thrusters. When it comes to PvP, I think that the same exposed thrusters are going to be a bit problematic because you will see it easier to target the thrusters and take them out, as opposed to in some cases where the thrusters are a little bit more protected. But overall, I really like the ship design. It's very well thought out, looks really good aesthetically. There are just some areas that I find to be problematic. Once again, this is the TSY Goliath by creator D00mnoodle, and if you want to try it out in your own game, I will have a link in the description below. Be sure to leave a thumbs up and a nice comment if you try it out in your own game and you do like the design. Well, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave me a like, leave me a comment below, and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you would like to submit your own creator requested showcase look, then make sure you join us on our Discord server and send me a private message there. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I will see you in the next video.